Remember Christian Hackenberg? Once hailed as a 5-star recruit and the 51st overall pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, he was poised to be the next big thing in football. Yet, despite the hype, he never played a single regular season NFL snap. From college stardom at Penn State to a brief stint in the AAF, Hackenberg's journey is a cautionary tale of unfulfilled potential. Born on February 14, 1995 in Lehighton, Pennsylvania, Christian Hackenberg showcased his athletic prowess early on. Attending Fork Union Military Academy in Virginia, he quickly rose through the ranks, earning a 5-star recruit status and being ranked as the #1 pro-style quarterback in the 2013 class by ESPN. His strong arm and leadership qualities made him a coveted prospect, with offers from top programs nationwide. Ultimately, he committed to Penn State, aiming to lead the Nittany Lions back to prominence. Hackenberg's college career began with promise. As a true freshman in 2013, he started all 12 games, throwing for 2,955 yards and 20 touchdowns, earning Big Ten Freshman of the Year honors. However, the subsequent season saw a decline in performance. In 2014, he threw 12 touchdowns against 15 interceptions, and in 2015, he managed 16 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Despite the challenges, he left Penn State with 8,457 passing yards and 48 touchdowns over 3 seasons. His college tenure was a mix of early brilliance and later struggles, setting the stage for his NFL journey. In the 2016 NFL Draft, the New York Jets selected Hackenberg in the 2nd round, 51st overall. Expectations were high, but his professional career never took off. He spent 2 seasons with the Jets without appearing in a regular season game. Subsequent brief stints with the Raiders, Eagles, and Bengals also failed to yield playing time. In 2019, he joined the Memphis Express in the AAF, where he started 3 games, completing 51.6% of his passes for 277 yards and 3 interceptions. His professional football career was marked with unfulfilled potential and limited opportunities. Christian Hackenberg's downfall wasn't dramatic. It didn't come with a season-ending injury or viral meltdown or a front-page scandal. No, his fall from grace happened one quiet Sunday at a time, mainly because he never stepped onto an NFL field when it actually mattered. Let's rewind to where the hype met reality: college. Coming out of high school as the #1 pro-style quarterback, Hackenberg was supposed to be Penn State's savior. And to his credit, he kind of was, at least at first. In his freshman year, he stepped into a mess. The program was still reeling from the Jerry Sandusky scandal. Scholarships were down, morale was low, and pressure was sky high. But Hackenberg thrived. He threw for 2,955 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions in 2013. He even completed nearly 59% of his passes. Not elite, but solid, especially for a true freshman under that kind of scrutiny. He was named Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Everyone was sold. The NFL was already circling. But then came the drop-off. In 2014, Hackenberg regressed, badly. His touchdowns were cut nearly in half, down to just 12. Interceptions jumped to 15. His completion rate dipped to 55.8%. The offensive line was a turnstile, and he was sacked a staggering 44 times. By 2015, the numbers had leveled out, but not in the way you'd want it. He threw 16 touchdowns and 6 picks, with a completion percentage of 53.5. Overall, in 3 seasons at Penn State, he racked up 8,457 yards, 48 touchdowns, and 31 interceptions. Sounds decent, right? On paper, maybe. But for every deep ball that wowed scouts, there were 6 missed reads, airmails, or forced throws into triple coverage. Here's the thing, numbers are important, but context is everything. Hackenberg's offensive line was abysmal. He went through a coaching change after his freshman year, moving from Bill O'Brien's pro-style system to James Franklin's more spread-out scheme, which never really fit his skill set. His development stalled, and worse, it looked like he was losing confidence. But somehow, the NFL was still interested. Enter the New York Jets. In one of the more baffling decisions in modern draft memory, the Jets selected Hackenberg with the 51st overall pick in the 2016 NFL Draft. A 2nd rounder, not a project in the 5th. No, an early day 2 selection. And they never played him. Let that sink in. Hackenberg became the first quarterback in modern NFL history to be drafted that high and never take a single snap in a regular season game. Not one. Not a kneel down. Not garbage time in week 17. Nothing. He sat behind Ryan Fitzpatrick, then Bryce Petty. The Jets' QB situation was a rotating door of mediocrity, yet Hackenberg never even got a look. Coaches reportedly said his mechanics were broken. He couldn't throw a screen pass consistently. His release was all over the place. He looked good in warm-ups, but as soon as the pressure was on, even in practice, everything would unravel. One report even said he hit a coach with a pass during warm-ups. No joke. In 2 seasons with the Jets, Hackenberg was inactive for most games. He couldn't beat out bottom-tier QBs for a roster spot. In 2018, the Jets cut him loose. He bounced around briefly, signed with the Raiders, then the Eagles, then the Bengals. But again, no game reps, no preseason heroics, nothing to show. At that point, most quarterbacks fade into obscurity, but Hackenberg's story had one last twist. In 2019, the Alliance of American Football, AAF, launched, hoping to be a developmental league for NFL castoffs and overlooked talent. Hackenberg signed with the Memphis Express, and for a moment, it felt like this might be his redemption arc. He was announced as the starter. He was healthy. The lights weren't too bright. This was his shot. And it did not go well. In his debut, Hackenberg completed just 10 of 23 passes for 87 yards and an interception. He was visibly frustrated. He yelled at teammates. He missed early throws. Game 2? Not much better. He completed 14 of 25 for 102 yards and another pick. By his 3rd game, fans were calling for him to be benched, and that's exactly what happened. He was replaced by Zach Mettenberger and then by Johnny Manziel a few weeks later. Hackenberg never played again. His final AAF stat line? 32 of 62 passing, 51.6%, 277 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. The quarterback rating of, well, it doesn't matter. The league folded mid-season anyway, but for Hackenberg, the writing was already on the wall. And just like that, Christian Hackenberg, once a 5-star recruit, a college phenom, and an early 2nd-round draft pick, was done with professional football. No touchdowns, no comebacks, just a silent stat sheet-shaped exit. But it's not just about what he did, or didn't do, on the field. Hackenberg's story is fascinating because it's so rare. Most quarterbacks that bust out of the league at least get a chance. They play a few snaps, throw a few picks, get a highlight or two. Hackenberg got none of that. His NFL career exists in history, but not in practice. A ghost draft pick. And when you look at the numbers, college regression, mechanical flaws, inability to adapt to different systems, they all tell you the same thing. The red flags were there. The problem wasn't that Hackenberg had no talent. He had a strong arm. He could throw the deep ball, but the polish never came. The development stalled, and in the NFL, especially with a team like the Jets, you don't get time. You either hit the ground running or you're out. So what do you call a quarterback drafted in the 2nd round who never played a single NFL snap? A bust? A ghost? A cautionary tale? Christian Hackenberg might be all 3. After the AAF shut down in 2019 and his football options officially dried up, Hackenberg did what most former athletes do. He tried something new. He made headlines again in 2020, but this time for baseball. Yep, Hackenberg pivoted to pitching. He started training as a professional baseball player, hoping to turn his arm strength into a second shot at sports stardom. But the MLB didn't bite. No team signed him. No minor league tryout panned out. And in the end, Hackenberg quietly moved on from the dream. By 2021, he'd taken a completely different path: real estate. He got licensed in New Jersey, started working with Keller Williams, and later joined a cybersecurity firm as an account executive. Not exactly what you'd expect from a guy who once stood under stadium lights in front of 100,000 screaming fans, but maybe that's the point. That same year, he became a quarterbacks coach at Winslow Township High School in New Jersey. No glitz, no cameras, just teaching kids how to read defenses and throw spirals, something he once did with NFL dreams on the line. And honestly, he seems happy. In an interview with York Dispatch, Hackenberg talked about his journey, saying, "I'm thankful for football and my journey, but I'm more excited about the next 40 years than the first 25. That line hits, because for someone who got labeled a bust before he turned 23, Hackenberg didn't fold. He just adjusted. But here's the thing, his story is still jarring. Not because he failed. Plenty of QBs flame out, but most of them got something. A chance to prove themselves, a highlight reel, a wild 4th quarter on a random Thursday night game. Hackenberg didn't even get garbage time. He was drafted into the NFL and somehow never entered the NFL. Not really. So who's to blame? Is it the Jets? Absolutely, in part. They reached. They drafted a project quarterback who clearly needed more time and development, then gave him 0 reps. They didn't build a system around him. They didn't tailor the playbook. They didn't even throw him out there to see what he had. That's malpractice. But this isn't just a Jets problem, it's a draft culture problem. Scouts fell in love with the idea of Hackenberg, not the reality. Big arm, NFL frame, early success. Nobody wanted to ask the hard questions about his steep decline at Penn State. Nobody wanted to challenge the narrative that his best days were already behind him. Instead, they said he just needs better coaching. He'll clean up his mechanics. He'll figure it out in the pros. He didn't. And here's the real takeaway. The NFL doesn't give you time to figure it out. If you're not ready when you walk through that locker room door, you're already falling behind, especially as a quarterback, especially on a team with no offensive line, no weapons, and a revolving door of head coaches. The Hackenberg saga isn't just about bad throws or busted plays, it's about projection versus reality. It's about what happens when hype outpaces development, when expectations outstrip readiness, when someone gets drafted because of what they could be instead of what they are. And maybe that's why Hackenberg's story sticks with people, even if they forgot about him. He was supposed to be the guy, and then he wasn't, and then he vanished. But if there's a silver lining, it's this: he didn't let it define him. Hackenberg could have disappeared into bitterness or stayed stuck in the what-ifs, but he didn't. He retooled his life, found new goals, and now he's using his experience to help the next generation, not just to throw better spirals, but to understand what it really takes to survive in sports and in life. That's not failure, that's maturity. So was Christian Hackenberg the worst QB draft prospect no one remembers? Statistically, arguably yes. A second-rounder who never threw a pass? That's historically bad. But he was also something else, a reminder. A reminder that success isn't guaranteed, no matter how many stars are next to your name in high school. That potential without development is just a story waiting to disappoint. And that sometimes, the best comeback doesn't happen on the field. It happens after you walk away from it. So yeah, Hackenberg never made it in the NFL, but in the grand scheme of things, he just might be doing okay. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.